I'm Ray Prince, drummer. I was asked to put a band together for this wonderful project, more so the founder of Gospel Revisited project. My history is Church of God of Prophecy. I started playing from, I would say, well, I had an interest in drums from the early age of about 3. Started playing with my older brothers from the age of about 8, and have continued playing up to this date, playing with various people from different musical backgrounds. But my love of music is, well, my passion for playing is gospel music. First of all, it was an absolute honour to be a part of this project, to kind of document history, document all those wonderful artists from the Midlands who are very much influential in gospel music in the Midlands, and perhaps may have not had the opportunity to push their music. So revisiting them now has, obviously, many of us as musicians have matured in their playing, and the music that was written by the likes of Dave Copeland, Wezley, Maxine Brooks were quite nice to revisit, because they are still fresh, because the way they're written, they're still applicable for today. Whether it be younger drummers playing on it, they could find something quite interesting to play because the template's already there. So it was nice to revisit the music now and to present it in this fashion. Again, it was good organisation by yourself, Roger Moore. So I have to kind of give you props for that. Also, the artists were quite easy to work with. The music was nice to play. They were open to interpretation. They were willing for us to change and tweak certain things. What was nice was that the guys that I used rehearsed it, became ready to play, so we had plenty of time to rearrange them if the artists weren't happy. So again, the process was nice because of the time frame. Also, the music and the way it was written could be played with today's flavour, which they would have, I think, I'd like to think that we were still true to the composer's intentions, i.e. Dave and the rest of the team, to kind of present it in this fashion. There's a time and place for everything, and I think now is a time when I personally appreciate this music and the schooling that I had during that time. Playing the music, Maxine, playing her tune, I'm sure I was probably played on it 30 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. And it was nice to revisit it and still give it that same flavour, but more of a maturer sound. It brings back great memories of that time, and that time I refer to perhaps could have been the late 80s, you know, a time when you're carefree, you're young, you know, you're just playing music, having a great time, meeting up with friends. And I think, you know, those times are very, very precious. And I think if people can, when people listen to these pieces of music, that I'm hoping that it brings that joy of nostalgia. It also brings a time of remembrance, what they may have been doing, how they were as young people growing up in that time. And also that it's nice that we can bring that fresh flavour and feeling back at this time. I think sometimes I don't think we believe in ourselves can be an obstacle. Also, there was a lack of infrastructure at that time, which it's nobody's fault. We didn't have support in the music industry. It was seen as the talents and those who play should remain in the church, which is fine if you feel that way. But I also feel that those that remain should be supported. There should be a development program for them, or should have been a development program for them. And we should share. I think one of our biggest problems is that we don't share and support one another. There's enough space for everybody to eat at the table. And we can't make that same mistake that we may have made many years ago. It's not just about you getting there, but like we have a responsibility to help everybody get up and also share and support. If you can't do it, support the one who can. That's a mentality we need to adopt now, which we didn't have back then. You know, we can learn from our mistakes. You know, my mum always used to say, Mistakes are human, but intelligence is learning from the mistakes you make. So if we can learn from that, I'm sure it's not too late. Many of us and many of those that did the recordings are in their prime. Some of them, no, don't disrespect, we're in our 50s, some are in their 60s, which is okay, but they're still making and still sounding great. However, we can still be an example for the younger generation that is coming up. They can see that we are professional in our delivery, in the way we work with one another, so that they can pattern that and take it to the next level. I can only speak, the young Ray, I'd still say and do the same thing now. I just wanted to play. On my side, it was a lack of knowledge. We didn't know. There were certain individuals that were privy to recording and that world, but it wasn't shared, and that's always been my problem. If we know, let's tell one another in order to progress. It's like people, they know, okay, we can do recording. They're just holding it for themselves so they can move on, and that's not the right spirit. So I can't really answer that the best way. Is all I wanted to do was play. But if we're saying in hindsight, if I had the knowledge of that, of course, we play, we do live stuff, but now I know a career can also be made in recording your material, and especially getting footage so that you leave something. Many of us haven't got anything recorded, a few people have passed away and still got material. We can't afford to let that happen, because again, we're not telling our story for others to pick up on. The Midlands need to have a story. Those days of looking over the states for examples or for people to pattern, fine. We all listen to guys from and girls from across the waters, but we need to make that happen here. And I think we're the generation, and it needs to start now. We're going to make some great people that we can pattern to move it on.